The spurs are lining leather on the shelf. The silent map of how I found myself. From the ink and paper to the...
So we just got finished interviewing Miss Khristina at the Columbus Bound Bookstore, and it was a great interview. It was very quick, straight to the point, because we had customers coming in. So, but I really enjoyed the interview. She answered some good questions, and then we're going to discuss more about it. So I'm going to play the interview for you, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards.
Hi, I'm Khristina Gallagher. I'm the owner of Columbus Bound Bookshop here in Columbus, Georgia.
Nice to meet you. So tell us, what's the passion behind starting your bookstore?
I love books, and so I have always been a lifelong reader. I grew up in Columbus, and then I moved away to go to college and start my career, and I grew a family and all these wonderful things. And then when I decided to come back after COVID in 2021, there were no bookstores here, like local independent bookstores that were selling new books in the other communities I had lived in, and so I decided to do it.
I'm glad you did, because I looked. Yes, I was hunting. So tell me about something that self-published authors need to understand about getting their books into bookstores. Like, why is it so hard? I think a lot of them don't understand. If you could explain that.
Yeah, so I'm a novice at this as well, right? I've only owned a bookstore for a year and a half. And conventional wisdom is that you work with publishing companies to stock your shelves. Mm-hmm. And so as a new business owner, a new to books person, that's what I did, because that's what I'm told to do. And so it helps a lot to do it that way, because a lot of those publishers have tools and systems for speaking to my tools and systems here in the store and making everything as smooth as possible in a world and space where there's a lot of different moving parts.
Yeah.
And there's only me and maybe a couple of other people helping, and really only me doing the book buying. Yeah. And so it's very challenging for me particularly to work one-on-one with a buyer, which is what you become when you are a seller, when you become an independent author, because I just don't have the means to purchase from you. Mm-hmm. And to keep track of all the individual authors.
That's challenging. And something I always like to tell other self-published authors is that it's like real estate. You know, each book it's a real estate spot. So if it's not moving, it has to move out the store.
Yeah, absolutely. So our system is conventional wisdom is 3 to 6 months for a book to live on a shelf, and if it doesn't sell, then it gets off the shelf.
Yeah.
So that's another mechanism specifically for self-published authors, is that these books don't just sit here until they sell. You know, if they don't move within 3 to 6 months, they get returned to publishing.
So that was my next question. So do you return them?
Yeah, I return my books, and some places have consignment deals with independent authors, but we're not in a position to offer that.
Yeah. No, I understand. And then, so I know that you order traditionally published books because that's like the catalog that you have access to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and even more so than that, it's because I have a sales rep who pitches to me. Okay. So I have access to many, many catalogs, but I don't have time to look through all the catalogs. And so this is kind of conventional understanding of small bookstores, is that you open publishing accounts with the top 5 publishers in the industry, and I have reps with all of those publishers, and that's who I listen to when I am buying books.
Okay. That is very insightful.
Yeah.
That was very insightful. So I'm not going to keep you much longer. I just wanted to get that information and then just pass along. So it's not like it's just coming from me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And We do have, like, so again, we're young, so we're always trying to do things. And so one of the things we offer, I think I told you once before, is we do an annual literary festival where we invite local authors to come and sell their own books. And so we provide the promotion and advertising for that, and then they have a spot where they can sell their own stuff.
And that's a great opportunity. When is that? When is the next?
We don't have it scheduled right now because we try to schedule it in conjunction with Jar Fest so that we can have like a big audience, lots of eyes. And so they haven't booked theirs, but it's typically the first week in November.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being
absolutely.
with me.
Yeah.
Being with me. So thank you again, and I look forward to your book fair and hanging out. I really love that cafe.
Oh yeah. We were when we were looking for places to open our brick and mortar, we were looking to be close to a coffee shop, and so that's a really well established one. Yeah, we're
you can get your book here and then over there.
That's right. Vice versa. Either one. Yeah.
Love it. What we walked away with from that conversation was that there is there's there's layers of walls that you have to get through to get your book into bookstores. So, one, she's ordering from a catalog that predominantly is traditionally published books. Now she has access to multiple catalogs, but she doesn't have the time. So another catalog would be like, for example, for us, for independent authors, would be Ingram Sparks. That's another catalog. There's others. There's bookstores that I've known will order through Amazon in bulk. There's um, there's there's all kind, but they get a better guarantee through traditionally published books. And then on top of that, that's one thing. The next thing is that she's also ordering, she has a sales rep who calls her and recommends books to her to put into her store. So of course you got to think, as a bookstore owner, she wants to get books that will bring about sales, right? And books that people want to read to get more traffic into her store. So now, if you're a type of author who has a strong following and you do really well at book signings and you can prove that you could bring in some people, I'm sure even a store like Christine's would consider a one time giving you a chance to maybe host a book signing there, and then you guys work out how you want to split the sales, right? Or that's a deal that you can look into with other bookstores in your area. I know for Barnes and Noble, the bottom line is they want to see your marketing plan, they want to see your following, they want to see how well are people following your track. Do you have a following? Basically the point is, if you are an author that comes into my store to do a book signing, are you going to increase the traffic that we already have? Because then if you do, they'll want you all the time, every weekend, you be there as often as you want. Um, so which I'm not offended by that. That makes perfect sense. The whole catch 22 is that the reason why we're at the bookstore is because we're trying to get more attention, more um we're trying to grow our audience, right? But maybe that's not the best route to go. Maybe the best route to go is to grow your audience in the most feasible way, which would be, honestly, in my humble opinion, through social media. And from there, then start seeing about, telling your audience, hey, I'm going to be doing a book signing here. Create your own tour in your town. It depends on your budget. If you can do the book signings at your local bookstores, or another thing that we're going to look into and later on in the show is not in this show but another episode, is unconventional places that you can have a book signing. So things like that. Maybe make it a point to start going to a lot of literary fairs, book events, um, things like that. Things that where you can be a vendor and push your books at. I think for now, just starting out, I think that's best to do that is to be a vendor at different events, attend and be a vendor at literary fairs. Look into unconventional ways, places that you can do book signings. Have fun with it. And if you're nervous about stepping out and doing a book signing, maybe start at one of the things I did was I did like one of my very, very first book signings I did like at home with my family. Just my family, just my, families and relatives. They just came over and I was at my mom's house and I did a little book signing there. That's just to get your feet wet, to kind of help you get out of your comfort zone, and that's just one suggestion. Another would be just small bookstores that are open to self-published authors doing book signings there. So just something to consider. Um, Another thing that she mentioned was, or that I brought up, the whole real estate thing. So, like she said, there's the book lifespan in her store is 3 to 6 months. If your book doesn't sell in 3 to 6 months, it's getting kicked out. Now, let's just say, for example, for argument's sake, let's just say she ordered through Ingram Sparks and she purchased your books wholesale through Ingram Sparks and she returns it. Return books are not good for the author. I don't know how it works with traditionally published books. I don't know that side on the back end. I don't know. I do know it might probably is very similar to what happens when your books get returned through Ingram Spark. So if your books get returned, you have to basically uh fork over the money for that book, those books that were returned. So I've heard of authors on Ingram Sparks, and this was a big thing back in the days. It was just an eye opener. So, for example, let's just say random person, Susie Sue, uh, she sold, let's say, $10,000 in books. It got into this bookstore, and she did not sell any books, not one book. And so the bookstore owner is forced to ship the books back, and basically they return them and they get their money back or whatever, or percentage of their money back. Don't know exactly how that works. But Susie has to now pay that money that she got up for her books being sold. Now that gets reversed. So now instead of gaining $10,000, she's now has to pay. And if you've already taken that money and you spent it, and you know maybe things got a little rough and you don't have $10,000 to pay back, it's a problem. It's a problem. So that's why I'm saying, like, start off where, one, a lot of us are introverts. Either we're introverts or we're on a tight budget. In Trinidad we say it's my budget is like crapobati, which basically means it's um it's very tight. It's very, very, very tight. So if your budget is very, very tight, a crapo means frog. So it basically means your budget is as tight as a frog's butt. Don't ask me. This is what the old people say. I don't question the old folks, okay? This is just an old saying way back in the days, but it's hilarious. But yeah, if it's very, very tight, then start start local, start small. And you probably won't hit pay dirt till you start branching further out, but by the time you reach further out, you're gonna be very comfortable. Another thing that I want to talk about, but I'm not gonna get too deep in right now, is the standard deviation, right? And I'll get deeper into that in a later episode. But basically, we're working in the median, right? So those of you who understand all that, we're working within the bell curve. It's that it's that curve that goes up. Basically, we're in that medium. We're all working in that medium. We're all competing against each other. To really succeed at this, we have to move out of that medium. We have to move away from that, and we have to find a way within our genre, within within our talents to scale to where we need to be or where we want to be. And it's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not easy. For example, let's just say 100 people hear this and they understood what I meant, what I said. I kind of mutilated it. I'll go deeper into it later and explain where I'm getting that from. But let's say 100 people heard it, probably 10 people will act on it, and one person will probably actually succeed at it. It's not easy. You're basically breaking away from the mold. So if everybody is trying to get their books, for example, if everybody's trying to get their books into Barnes and Noble, maybe instead of trying to get into Barnes and Noble, maybe look into a path that people aren't paying attention to. And just for example, that might be, maybe I won't get my books into Barnes and Noble, but maybe I'll look into getting my books into the PX. The PX is the military stores on base, and maybe get my book into the PX. And which is not that's something that we're going to talk about because it's not a bad idea. But they have stipulations. But let's just say instead of you trying to get into Barnes and Noble, you're like, I'm going to get my book into the PX, and that's a book that goes around the globe to wherever there's a military base, wherever there's a military base, and they're also online, right? So it's just a suggestion. Maybe we need to start breaking away from the crowd. Like right now, something that I've noticed on a personal level is people are becoming more self-centered. It's me, 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 which I think it's been like that for a while, but I think it's getting worse. So maybe to break away from that, to get out of that median, maybe we should focus on other people. I don't know. It's just a suggestion. So, like, how can I help other people? How can I serve other people? And for me, I'm looking at how can I serve other authors and crafters like myself, right? Because helping you helps me also. So, why not? So, I have this magazine. I I believe is going to be like a catalog. I know of one bookstore owner that's an online bookstore who sells um exclusively independent author books or independently published books, sorry. And so wouldn't it be great if we had our own catalog and we had our own stores, we had our own shops, if people in different states, different areas started opening up books where they specialize in having just independently published books. That's it. Wouldn't that be it'd be a different bookstore. And it would also give other authors a chance to get their books seen. Because right now we're all fighting for that one spot in the top, and it's just a hot mess. It's too much. You hear like these bookstores, she's kind of overwhelmed. You're like, she doesn't even look at all those other catalogs. She just goes by what the seller is saying. So something to think about, something to consider. I hope you liked my video. And if you like this, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more.